Guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the Good and the Beautiful Botany Science Unit. This is a K through 8 science unit study. Just to let you know how we use it, we do science as a group, and I even did the Good and the Beautiful Science with my little girl she was a kindergartner this past year. You can make these work to fit different ages. It's just a little bit of maneuvering as you work through the lessons. You know, if there's a lot of extra writing required on one of the lessons, you can kind of cut that down for a younger student. But as long as you're doing all of this, you know, like out loud as a family, the discussion alone is enough. It covers enough science content, in my opinion. So I think that you can do this as a family with multiple ages, kids in different grades. Alright, so for this one, I actually purchased the PDF download and print version. You can order like better made pages from the Good and the Beautiful. It's a little bit more expensive, and that's actually, I'm going to show you guys the Mammals unit too. We've not started yet, and I actually ordered it straight from the Good and the Beautiful, as in they printed it, and I'll show you kind of the differences in the pages. But I just made a little like a spine insert there so that I could, you know, just kind of cute and, you know, easy to find when they're turned around like this, because we've got several of these units here. Alright, so here is Botany K through 8. Now keep it in mind, you'll see some things right over here in this pocket, because we started this, we have not gotten very far at all. About the time we started it, things got a little bit crazy around here and summer started, so we've not been doing a lesson. We've not done many lessons, but I can give you guys an idea of what this is like. So when you print it off, you're going to see, let me adjust my light because we're getting a major shadow. You're going to see the table of contents, and everything that you need is provided in this unit. Like, it gives you a list of things that you're going to need for each lesson. You can go ahead and buy all those things before you start if you want to, or you can just kind of get them as you go. A lot of the things that you need are just already in your house, so that's a good thing. Just kind of going to let you guys see what the table of contents looks like and what's going to be covered throughout the botany unit. Okay, and right up here you'll notice it says Read Aloud Book Pack and Correlated Books. The Good and the Beautiful provides books that can go with the science unit. You don't have to get the books, but they're helpful, and like if there's one day you're not really feeling doing a whole lesson, you can just read a book with them, and it'll cover that content for the day. So you are going to want to create a science binder for the children. Now I don't get full-on binders for them. I just get little pocket folders. But for each child, prepare, it tells you what to do, a 1-inch to 2-inch 3-ring binder to function as his or her science journal. You can also get tab divider pages to separate the different units if you want to. We're not super duper organized around here. I'm just kind of like, yay, we completed it. I don't care where this ends up. Yeah, I know, that's terrible. But if you want to get everything organized, you can get your child a 3-ring binder to keep all their science work in it. And then a science wall. Now, when we were living at our old house, I moved throughout the house when we did school. We didn't do school in one particular room. And now that we're living in a camper, it's especially helpful to do this. So what we did was we got one of those styrofoam trifold boards, and we made that our science wall. So the science wall is where you're going to keep up with vocabulary cards that you're going to cut out throughout the unit. And each of these lessons has lesson prep for you. It lets you know everything you're going to need in each lesson. There are mini books, and it teaches you how to assemble it. Gives you field trip ideas, microscope activities, experiments. Most of the lessons have experiments or at least some type of hands-on activity. And right here it says consider the season. So that's what we did. We started with the botany unit in the spring obviously because we'd have a lot of access to different plants. And then here is just another optional activity. Have the children find a tree that they would like to adopt for a year throughout the year. Visit the tree on a regular basis, noting the changes in the bark, branches, leaves, and other things. So all of these are suggestions to get you started. You don't have to do any of those. I mean, I basically tweak everything we do in homeschool. I don't follow a curriculum exactly. I just go by what we need to do as a family. Once again, here are the Read Aloud book options, and you don't have to get these, but they are helpful. The 3 books below are optional read aloud books that complement the unit. They can be purchased at thegoodandthebeautiful.com/science. So it comes with Carl in the Garden, The Good and the Beautiful, Flower Study Book, and Plant Hunters. My kids really like this book. There are other books that correlate with this unit. You can just go search on, let's see, by clicking on the Botany Science unit. If you go to thegoodandthebeautiful.com, if you want to get some more books or different books that go with this unit, you can. So I love that they provide everything you need for the science units, because I don't like going on a big wild goose chase trying to find certain books, because 9 times out of 10 I'm not going to do that. If I don't have the book, I'm not running to the library to get it. I know. I guess I'm lazy. So here we go. Now, if you have children in the upper grades, with each lesson, there is lesson extensions. It is a lot more actually, complex than the original lesson. So if you have kids in the upper grades, just take note that there is going to be additional work for them to complete, which is good. I mean, we obviously skip this because my kids are not old enough, but if you have that older child, these lesson extensions are helpful. And then here is, by lesson, everything you're going to need to complete it for experiments or whatever type of activity you're going to be completing. Now, in the botany unit, it does say for use with lessons 5, 8, 9, 11, and 12, you're going to need a microscope with glass slides and covers. So that's something that I have not purchased one of those yet, so we're going to have to do that in order to complete this when we get there. But like I said, we've not made it very far in the botany unit, just completed a few lessons. But there's everything you need. Your supply list provides you with that. And just to give you some examples so you kind of know what you're up against if you purchase this, those are some of the items you're going to need, like for lesson 2. Sandwich bags, paper towels, tape. Most of those things you're going to have at your house anyways, which is helpful. Here's another optional activity. This is the Bible Plant Study Guide. I actually really like this. It gives you a little extra information about certain plants that are referenced in the Bible. Alright, so I'll show you what is going on with this. So it mentions the almond tree, and these are the books of the Bible and the verses that you'll find that particular plant. I love how it connects it to the Bible. Barley is talked about, bramble, cedar. It's just additional discussion for your child, or if you have one that is really interested and wants to dig a little bit deeper, this plant study guide is helpful. Okay, so I'm going to take you through a lesson and then show you guys a few extra things, and then we'll move on to the mammals unit. So here is what a lesson looks like. It tells you the title and basically what's going to be covered there, obviously. What is botany? Here's your objective. This is what your child is going to work on and learn about. Help the children understand what botany is, what botanists do, and the majesty and importance of creation of plants. So that's the main focus of this lesson. So you know what you're getting into. Here's your preparation, everything you need to do. Cut out the 6 quotes included in this lesson and place them around the room. Cut out the number pictures. Assemble the mini book. You don't need supplies for lesson 1. And it just guides you through everything you need. And you can check it off when you're finished. And it says at any point you can read those books from the book pack that we talked about. So here's the opening activity. Whoops. And then it moves into the picture activity. You had to cut out some pictures for this one. And then you're just going to read through this And this creates a lot of discussion. It does for my kids, and I'm not just saying that to be like, oh, we are so sophisticated and have very deep discussions. You know, I'm not trying to sound like that, but this does open up a lot of different discussion topics. Alright? Down here it says read to children. Do you know what botany is? You talk about botany. It just guides you through everything you need. And then it lets you know you're going to need to cut out the vocabulary card. And remember the trifold board I told you about? You can put your vocabulary card on that and keep up with them there. And then you read the mini book that you had to cut out and assemble. And then an activity. Nature show and tell. And I'll show you one more lesson. Or actually, no, the extension. I'll show you guys that. So, based off lesson 1, this is the extension for grades 7 through 8. Here are the instructions. And in this particular one, we're studying George Washington Carver. So, in your science journal, it says, this is for the older kids, write 1 to 2 sentences about each of the following prompts. And it has 3 different prompts for the child to write about based off this passage. Okay, here's lesson 2, the life cycle of a plant. There's your objective, your prep, everything you're going to need. So here, sometimes you're going to have to print copies. If you have multiple kids, you're going to have to print various copies for them to have throughout the lesson. Here are the activity supplies. And this is a good little note. The experiments are in video form if you go to the Good and the Beautiful website, and you can watch it and make sure you're doing the experiment correctly. So for this lesson, we just planted seeds in different places, like for different to represent different environments. And we are supposed to reference those seeds throughout the unit. That is, our seeds didn't last that long. And guys, I mean, you have to put, so in this lesson you put some seeds in a bag with a wet paper towel, and you put them on the window and you watch the seed grow or sprout. And you also do them in cups. Now, in a camper, that did not last very long. Everything started to get yuck, and we don't move fast enough through science to cover all the lessons in which we refer back to these seeds. But guys, my kids planted in a garden with us, so you don't have to go directly by these science lessons. They can be a guide. I mean, if you're living real life, your child's going to learn these things in everyday life. And I'll show you the lesson extension for 7 through 8. It says summarize the differences between annual, perennial, and biennial plants. And optional in your science journal, sketch one of the plant illustrations on this page. So it's reading and writing on this one. I like that. That's something I could you can adapt this too, I think, for a bit younger if you wanted to. But in my opinion, the lessons are long enough. You don't need to add to them. Okay, here are some printables that you download the PDF and you print everything off, put it in order, and it's there when you're ready. You can read your lesson prep to see if you have to make copies of this. And I did have to make copies of this one. But now, okay, you got the gist of a lesson. I'm going to take you guys and show you the vocabulary cards. So I printed the vocabulary cards on cardstock because I knew we would be using, I just wanted them to be a little bit sturdier than regular copy paper. But here are the vocab cards and what they look like. There we go. I'll just keep those in the back and grab them when I need them. Okay guys, now I'm just going to kind of flip through the pages and let you guys look at the different pictures throughout. we're going to take a look at the Mammals unit. We haven't started this one, but I'm pretty excited about this one. We'll probably do this one for next school year. I say next year, but just, you know, like in a few months we'll be starting a fresh year. But, okay, so this one, I actually had the Good and the Beautiful print. They're thicker. They kind of have a bit of a shiny look. It's hard to explain this unless you're here feeling it, but it's higher quality pages whenever you order it from the Good and the Beautiful. Now, this unit comes with a little map where it's to talk about where the different mammals are located. So you'll hang this up and you'll be like, oh, we're talking about, you know, elephants. We can find those here and yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean? But it comes with that little map. Same setup. Here's your table of contents. It's going to tell us which books we can use. These are the different lessons that are going to be covered. And there are 14 lessons in this one. So go ahead and flip you over. Just like I showed you on the Botany unit, this curriculum comes with the information you need about a science journal, a science wall, the lesson prep, the mini books that you're going to be cutting out and assembling throughout the lessons, the Mammals of the World map and sticker activity. So it comes with a set of stickers, and I'll show you guys those. When prompted during a lesson, a child will place the noted sticker on a specified location on the map, typically where the mammal is most found. It's a great visual tool for the children. And then the videos that add a little bit of extra information to your lessons. So here are some of the optional Read Aloud book packs. Can you track it? Mammals of Small Pond and Mammals Down Under, and then a reminder there are much more books that you can use to go with this unit available on the website. And then here's the grade 7 through 8 lesson extension. So this is the big focus that I've noticed for 7 through 8 is your older kids are reading and they're summarizing the information, usually with a writing activity. A specific writing prompt. Obviously they're summarizing with writing, but there's specific prompts. Okay, here are the supplies you're going to need. We will take a look at a lesson. So they have their vocabulary cards in the beginning. And you cut these out and you put them on your science wall as you learn about that particular vocabulary word and definition. Geez, I can't wait to talk about a placenta. You know, you kind of have to do that at your own discretion. Vocabulary words with this one. My goodness. Okay, here's lesson 1. Your prep is right here. It says copy the sheet titled Characteristics of Mammals. I'm going to flip over and show you that. There's mammals in art. I love these pictures. But here's the characteristics of mammals. You're going to cut that out. And let's see what else you gotta do. You're gonna cut out the circular food chain cards and arrows. Let's find that. Here's more of the characteristics of mammals. And it says this is focused on grades 5 through 8. You can kind of adjust it however you need to. You can talk about this with your younger ones. Oh, look here. I've already ripped it. So you kind of gotta be careful with these pages. Here it is. I missed it. This is the food chain card and arrow activity. And then you're going to need a device to play a video, a piece of fruit, a piece of meat, or a picture of it, and a whiteboard and dry erase marker. Here's the opening activity. I love that it incorporates God and His creation, and He is the focus in this. You know, we learn about all these science topics, but we're always reminded that none of this would be possible without our Creator. So I love that. Have the children look at the page in the list entitled Mammals and Art, that pretty picture I showed you. And you're reading this with your children and talking about it. Then here is the video that goes with it. Alright, so here you've got questions to discuss. You don't have to have your kids writing the answer to these. You guys can just talk about them out loud. But after they watch the video, here are some good discussion questions to see if they remembered what they learned about in the video. And then here's your vocabulary code. Okay, you need to cut out mammal, and then herbivore, carnivore, and omnivore. And then it tells you what to do after that once you cut out your vocabulary card. And then the kids are going to do a journal page. They're going to complete the worksheet titled Characteristics of Mammals. And it says there's a version for grades K through 4, which you color, and then the 5 through 8, they're going to write in a space below talking about the animal's characteristics. So it adjusts for different grade levels, but you can do that on your own, whatever your child needs. And then here are more vocabulary word activities. It's a good way to help your kids remember what each of these mean. That's why you needed the vegetable and the meat, or at least a picture of them. We're finishing up that discussion. Some review questions about what they just learned. And then another activity. Now, I know that if you're doing this science with a younger kid, they're probably going to get lost way back. Well, not lost, not confused, but they're going to lose interest way before you get to this point. So if you have to split your lessons up into a couple different days, that's okay. We do that all the time, sometimes a couple weeks, to be quite honest. And then, see, because it just keeps on going. And this is all lesson 1, so it's quite a bit for lesson 1. I would definitely split this one up. And maybe it says that somewhere. Like I said, I've not completed that. We've not done this curriculum yet, and I'm just kind of looking at it as you guys are. So there's that pretty Mammals and Art picture that comes with that lesson. And then we look at these. The kids are going to need copies of those. And here's an answer key, thank goodness. And here is the lesson extension for 7 through 8. Lesson 2. And I'm not going to go through everything. You guys get the gist of how the Good and the Beautiful science is set up. So here are the stickers that come with the Mammals unit that you will have your child put on the map that I showed you at the beginning. So cool. And not that I'm like promoting, I am 100% not promoting PBS, but the show The Wildcrats, my oldest boy watched that when he was younger, and my kids still like watching The Wildcrats, and they learn so much from that show. You know, you just have to keep an eye on all those other PBS shows, but so far Wildcrats has been okay, and it is so informative. Like I was just reading about, like I saw the muskox and it made me think of the crats, because my kids learned about the muskox on there and so many other things. They know so much about animals because of that show, so you could add in a little Wildcrats watching every now and then if you're okay with that. But I'm going to now just kind of flip through, let you guys see all these pretty pictures. This is a mini book that you would cut out and put together. So just to review, these are all of the lessons, different animals that are going to be covered in the Mammals unit. And I have let me see, these already came hole punched. So if you buy from the Good and the Beautiful for them to print, the holes are already punched and ready to go in a folder. So that's it. So if there's anything else you guys want me to flip through, if you'll go back and watch some of the homeschool videos that I've made, you can kind of get an idea of what we've got experience with or what we're using, and I can do close-ups of some of that curriculum to try to help people choose what they think will be best for their family. But in the end, that's completely up to you guys, and not one curriculum's going to be perfect. It's trial and error. But appreciate you guys watching. Stick around for more homeschooling videos and farming life and everything else we can come up with. Right?
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.